I don't do theatre. I would never
Really?
do. Oh no, I have stage fright. I would forget my name,
Really?
lose my sense of where I am. Oh yeah, it's so funny.
But you have such a profound sense of audience. You can tell you have an amazing rapport with the camera.
A lot of fear. If I have to go on stage just to do a presentation or something like that, I can't sleep until the presentation is over.
Oh, but that's worse. Theatre's
it's
not like
horrible.
that. Theatre's like an extended sleepover with a bunch of friends.
No,
Giving a speech as yourself, that is terrifying. Yeah.
No. Just being on stage and looking out at the sea of faces is terrifying.
Hello, Michelle Yeoh.
Hello, Cate Blanchett.
I'm really nervous. I'd be much happier if it was just us, without 100 of our friends talking.
You are nervous?
Yeah.
I've been having nightmares since I knew that I was doing this with you.
I know it well. I mean, we met, I think we met was it in Hong Kong? No, I think we met, you probably don't remember, maybe you were drunk.
But I think I was, most likely.
We were in Hong Kong, and I felt you before I saw you. It wasn't.
Oh wow!
It was not in an inappropriate way, but there's something about your presence, which is, and you've just worked with one of the best humans in the world, Jamie Lee Curtis. You have this similar thing, where you just have this aura. And I turned around, and there was Michelle Yeoh. So I
can't believe you're saying
yeah,
that.
No, I was quite overwhelmed.
Oh my God! I mean, I have loved you from your first film and followed you all the way across, in awe, with deep respect and envy.
Envy is a good motivator.
Yes, it is, because it's true. I aspire to have a career like yours. Well,
oh no! I mean,
yes.
You've just done something which seems to be like a synthesis of everything that you've done over the years, which is,
I know what you mean.
Which is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. I feel like I've been in rehearsal for the last 40 years for this role.
Yeah, I know, because if you look right back to Yes, Madam, and then all of the stuff that you've done, which has been through so many different mediums, it all seems to come together in that movie, and it's just so inventive and moving. Did it feel like you were bringing to bear like decades worth of work onto that experience?
It started with these two crazy guys, that they had the courage, the audacity to say, we love movies and we want to do this. And they said, let's do this and throw everything that we wanted to do but was not allowed to do. And they initially wrote it for a man. It was written. And I think it's the norm, because it would be easier to finance, right? It would be easier to understand that a guy would multiverse and jump and all those kind of things.
I don't know. I think women.
I think women. That's why
we live in the multiverse.
Yes, but then they came back and they realized it didn't work, and so they changed into a mother role, which actually suits the Daniels so much more because they're surrounded by very strong, smart women, and the two of them are kind of dopey, adorable, but
in a genius kind of way.
Yeah. So I must say, when I received the script, it was a little overwhelming because I've been in the business for a while now, and the opportunities gets a little narrower and narrower with time, because you're getting past your prime time. I just turned 60 this year, so the box sort of gets bigger, and you are getting put into that. And it's been a while since I was offered like the lead role. I have amazing supporting roles and things like in Crazy Rich Asians, in Shang-Chi.
And also, made some of the most memorable scenes in cinema, sometimes with no words at all.
I think that's really important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like your performance in Tar. It's like the energy, so dynamic and so real that you feel that it has to come from all the way inside. It's not a word just that says, I'm angry. It's like, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
fierce,
yeah.
and it's coming from here, and that's what you do in all your performances. You're like a chameleon that goes from this to that. You know, you're an elf, and then you're a queen, and then you're this. And with this performance, it's like it takes your breath away.
Please, 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 you must watch.
For me, what is very bold, because Tar, she's not the most perfect, likable character. And sometimes I think when you don't have the confidence as an actor, you stay away from those roles because it's hard to, because it brings up a lot of questions. Why would you try and portray someone like that? Does it have redemption? Are you trying to, do you judge her or say, well, what if you were in her footsteps? Would that happen to you? That the sense of power or that gets into your head. So it's very interesting the way Todd has approached the subject matter because he wrote it. At first, I thought it was based on a real character.
But it's funny you say that Evelyn in Everywhere,
Everything,
all at once, it's everything. That was originally written for a man because when Todd was thinking about it, Tar was originally a male role.
Yeah.
And in a way, because the film is like a meditation on power, it would have you would have had a much less nuanced examination of that if you'd had a, because we understand what the corruption of male power looks like, but we don't.
We see it too often, right?
But we need to unpick what power is itself.
Because it's not gender biased. That sense of power is, you know.
Well, it's a force, isn't it?
It's a position of.
You know, I mean, you understand power. I mean, you have it from your little toe all the way up to the, you know, the little hair in your head. You know, but that's what I mean about you. From the moment I first met you socially, you could feel that power, and I don't know whether it's from years and years and years of doing the most incredible, iconic stunts that I have ever seen anyone have
Crazy enough to do it.
I know, but it's insane, and that it's sort of gobsmacking what you've done physically. But then you're able to distill that volcanic energy into a close-up, which happens close-up after close-up after close-up in your film, that you still vibrate somehow with all of that physical, you sort of make the psychological turmoil so visceral and tangible.
Actually, what you're saying is very true. I learned from when I was doing Memoirs of a Geisha. I think that was the time.
Beautiful movie,
because that character was very still. But it's like, you have to figure a way, how do you make her be felt, even though she doesn't say anything and she's there? But I understand what you're trying to say because I have tried, and I think it's the years of training as a martial artist. And what we talk about chi is that inner energy that is there and you have to emanate it somehow. But you, my God, just looking at you, you're like luminous. It's like there's certain glow, like someone follows you behind with a light.
No, I've just stayed out of the sun. An Australian who stayed out of the sun on my own bounce board. When you read the Daniel script,
we call it EEAAO.
EEAAO.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Everything Everywhere.
That's even harder to say.
Okay, sorry.
When you read it, it's one of the most out of the box series of scenarios and relationships, and I mean it's obviously with hands down the best conception of the multiverse. I sort of
the cheapest.
Yeah,
totally.
I understood the universe, and then I didn't. What did you think when you read the script? How did you start to tackle it? Obviously, you knew the movies, and so you get it. Oh, okay.
So
right.
I took the script. I always want to work with younger directors. I think, you know, it's a great opportunity to discover because they throw challenges at you where, you know, that doesn't come your way often. But I think I was very gratified that finally I was getting a script where a very nondescript woman, immigrant woman, her story, and she's been around us for the longest of time, trying to live the American dream and, you know, survive.
Often invisibly, yeah.
But totally invisible, with no voice. And to make such an ordinary woman be extraordinary, it's very fulfilling, because I think that is all of us. There's so many of us out there who are very quiet and think that they'll just go along their way and maybe nobody will notice them and they're not successful enough and they're not well-to-do enough, all the negative things about themselves. And it was such a joy to say, no, look at what we can do for her, with her, and give her that loud, strong voice. And the core of the story is about family. It's about the mother and daughter. It's about her and her father. And all the culture of the Asians are very patriotic. It's all that the father is the one that dictates what happens. And the first thing is like, the sons are important. The daughters don't carry the family name. So in their minds, they're like, they'll be given away. They're going to be taken away by somebody else, and then they'll work for them, that family. So in that sense, they are not really well embraced in certain ways. But what happened was when I saw the Daniels, it's like, I have to meet these guys, but I have to know how because the story was so bizarre. And I must say...
And did everything, was it a series of... was the structure of the movie that we see the way it was on the page?
Yes.
Literally as the butt plug goes in?
Yes.
Because Jamie Lee just told me she didn't even know it was a butt plug.
Every time they change, they rewrite, there's different color pages that come to you, right? From beginning until the end, it was always white. We never changed anything. Stuff was edited. A couple of the universes were taken out, but they were not major ones. It was just like one or two frames.
That amazing sequence, and that is when you just think no one could have played the role but you. There's a series of close intercuts where you go through all of the and it's incredible. Was it written?
Yes.
Cut. So you knew that was going to happen.
It was going to happen like that. So there was no surprise that it was the
except
way
for the
it is.
audience.
Yes, except for the audience going like, what the hell? Because what we should do always is like, this is like a roller coaster, right? Put away your phones, put on your safety belts, and don't think. Don't, be an intellect and go, oh, I'm guessing she's going there and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Be Evelyn Wong, because that's what she's going through. She's like, what the hell? You're, her husband. So with the Daniels, it's like, they were out to achieve, that's very them. When I first met them, I had to see if they were certifiably insane.
Which they are.
Which they are,
in the best possible way.
In the best possible way. But when they spoke of their story, because, I think it's very important, because I feel the director is the visionary. And I'm one of their tools, right? And they need to direct me and tell me what is their vision, and the only thing I said to them was, the character cannot be called Michelle Wong. And they're like, but why? It's so you. I'm like, no, I'm not an Asian immigrant mother who's running a laundromat. She needs her own voice. And that was the only thing. I'm like, if you don't change the name, I'm not coming in. So,
wow, okay.
But the rest of it was easy.
When I first started acting, that was one of the most complicated thing for me is I was used to, the theatre process of it's even if the play is not linear, you perform in a linear way.
Right.
Either you had to break things up into tiny little units. And I can't even imagine how you held all of that in your head. Given that you're time traveling, character traveling, you played so many different personas and scenarios. And yet, so did you shoot it? Did they try to shoot it in sequence from what you're just saying? Like you just have to enter her experience and...
Like movies, you can't really shoot it in sequence. We shot the end shot on the first day of work.
Okay.
So it was like, that's what the Daniels do. They try and get you all messed up in your head, and that's exactly the look we want.
Right.
Right.
The reality is that right from the very beginning, I know precisely what time it is and the exact moment that you and I will arrive at our destination together.
Todd Field, who directed and wrote the film, he didn't want an audience to have too much access to her. And what was my friend was that as conductors, as maestros, your persona often cements your reputation. So if you're a glass of water, people have nothing to talk about.
So you have to create a...
Well, you think about the great conductors, and their personality is always talked about. Their style is always talked about. So,
Did you choreograph that style?
Yeah, I thought about it. I watched a piece of dance by this extraordinary choreographer.
Because it looked more like dance than
because I understand
you know, for
dance.
us,
It's a bit like this, which I
Yeah.
can't even do. But I called Xavier Leroy, and he had watched Simon Rattle, the great conductor Simon Rattle, conduct the Rite of Spring, Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, which is one of the most electric, dynamic pieces of classical music you'll ever hear. And he turned it into a dance piece. All of his facial postures and every gesture, and he leapt when
he
Simon
did.
is not a dancer, and I found that very liberating. And I've obviously watched everyone from Natalie Stutzman to Gergiev and Haitink, everyone conduct, and you realised you had to find your own way. But I realised that the character of Lydia, even though there's a very clear understanding in the community in which she moves in the world at large of who she is and how she thinks and what she's achieved, she's someone who has become estranged from herself. That being at the head of a major institution and therefore, being in a position of being able to and expected to wield a certain level of authority, that has separated herself from not only her craft and her creative instinct, but also from who she is. And she's about to turn 50 and all of the, there used to be a huge birthday party sequence and, there was I'm sort of loath to talk about it really, but there was a sequence where her mother came to a book launch and you realised that her mother was...
they didn't have a good relationship, did
well,
they?
no, I think they did have quite a moving relationship. There was a lot of guilt there because her mother was deaf. And so here she has a misophonia, so she's got a acute sensitivity to sound. Her hearing is so excellent that it's almost an impediment to her being socially functional. And yet her parents are deaf. And so I thought, wow, what was her school time like? What was she running from? And of course, that scene didn't make the movie.
And I don't remember that scene.
No. But he's absolutely right. At the time it came in, you couldn't tell that part of the story. It wasn't an 8-part television series. It was a movie that was about something deeper than any of the characters, I think. But yet I knew it. And so I think in terms of what drove her, I think she's running from a lot of stuff. And
it
so
looks like
music,
she was constantly running.
Yeah.
Even from herself.
Yeah, and she physically runs as well.
Yeah.
But so for me, it gave an access to her complex humanity and her fragility. And so I find it so interesting to play characters, and I suppose Evelyn's a little bit like this in this way, kind of hidden from themselves. That the audience is invited into the dilemma or the impediment or the level of self-destruction that a character, but the character doesn't know it. It's almost like the audience is saying, there's someone behind the curtain. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where the audience is allowed to lean in.
Right. You're right. Lydia is self-destructive is a very good word.
But don't you think the creative, this is where I find, is that everyone talks about giving birth to something and the creative urge being, it's so brutal, but it's also really destructive.
Yes.
That old cliche about killing your darlings. Yeah. You do have to, when you create something, you also have to risk destroying it, you know? And I think that Lydia, for me, is an embodiment of that urge that we all have. You don't have to be an actor or a painter or a musician to understand it.
I think that's the urge that we deny it the whole time. It's like self-denial. It's not there. It's not really happening to me. It will never happen to me. Why would it, right? I'm successful. I'm this. I'm that. But in many ways, we are very vulnerable to those kind of urges.
That we label as negative.
Right.
Like people talk about, I think we're in a moment. And it's interesting because I see it in a lot of really coming alive in a lot of female performances, is a sense of rage And we talk about rage, particularly in women and particularly in female characters on screen, as being negative.
Right.
But
But
I
rage
think
is not.
it's really, if you sit
If you know
in
how
it,
to, right.
yeah, you've got to harness it. I
Right.
mean, so that's what I mean about you being volcanic.
Right.
Is that you can sit there and you know that there is something. It takes an incredible skill.
To
Only you do it.
keep
It's
it
you sit on it.
in.
You compress
Right.
it, and that's
But
what I
I
mean.
think we do
It's all
that,
here.
right? I think it's something that it's necessary. I think especially in Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's like years of almost living in regret. If I had done this, if I had done that.
Yeah, but it's when you were doing the film, and I'm going to sound like the supreme narcissist I am, but when I was working with Jamie Lee on a
I
film
love
that
this
hasn't. I
woman.
know she's
Oh my
incredible,
God.
but on a film that's yet to be released, and she was showing me the strangest pictures I have ever seen in my life, of her in this bizarre grey wig, and you in the little black
yes.
bob, and you had Frankfurter fingers.
Yeah.
You were standing behind her, caressing her lovingly in these pictures, and I thought that really looks like a scene from Carol. And I said, "Are you?" I said, "The Daniel's trying to say that Carol had sausage fingers." I mean, did you talk about it, or is that just me reading everything that I do into everything you do?
The Daniels have this way of paying homage to people they love. Films that they really has touched them and reached out to them. If across our movies from Hong Kong, the Wong Kar-wai, In the Mood for Love, kind of atmospheric, and then the martial arts, and then it's like the Pulp Fiction kind of energy, and the Stephen Chow kind of over the top comedy. But then you're right. Because I saw a photo of that and I was like, wow, except for the hot dog fingers and Jamie playing the piano with her feet. I think it was what we were trying to say in that scene was these two people love each other. And I'm not surprised if they took, inspiration from Carol. It would not surprise me.
But even the tones that it was
that
was
kind
shot
of like
in.
beige,
I did
very
laugh.
comforting, and me standing at the back, but Jamie was playing with the toes.
But this is the power of the film, and the power, I mean, for me, you and Jamie, I mean, I love the film, and I think their strange worldview is it's just so utterly unique. But you both bring, as performers, you and Jamie, you bring this incredible intensity and truth, but yet it is always so playful. And so only the two of you could have made, an audience laugh and cry in that sequence. Because obviously you felt the love, you totally believed the deep love that these two people had for one another, but you're playing the piano with with toes
Jamie,
with Frankfurt fingers, it's just...
You know her, she throws herself. She's the most generous actor, person, human being that I
Apart from
know.
you, of course, yeah.
But when you understand this, when you're with someone, you're doing your role, if your collaborator, the person that you're working with, is not fully committed to it. I mean, can you imagine? We have hot dog fingers, then we have to do this ritualistic mating dance, right? I mean, when you read it, you're going like, seriously,
It's
guys?
one of the great scenes of all time. Another one that you've done.
When you read it, I tell you, it's not, you're like, that is no way. But Jamie and I connected on the first moment. It was love at first sight. We just looked at each other and went, yeehaw!
Yeah. But that energy happens, and it's really, I've always found it interesting when journalists, it's usually journalists, who ask actors, if they've lent into their performance about the way they prepared or whatever, and you think, well, you can do all the homework in the world, but you don't get a great performance, I don't think, unless you have a great scene partner, because it has to, I understand that in the theatre, but it's the same.
You do a lot of homework, and homework, I feel, is so important, because when the audience will be like, you're supposed to do your homework because that's your job, but when you do a role like Tar, how can you not do homework? How can you do all of
Oh, no,
that?
you do it. I mean, in the way that you must physically, over the years, have trained and, you know, brutalized your body to achieve what you've achieved doing so many of your own stunts. But and your stunts are so extraordinary because they have an intense psychology to them. So that's the thing, is a lot of stunts, and people have tried to replicate many. Your work is so iconic. It has been referenced by so many directors, and so many people have tried to replicate it. But what I think they find hard to replicate, which only you do, is you learn more about the character through every gesture. So whether it's never just a fight sequence, it's, you know, and it's always done with such playful wit. But you know what? Even if you're, you know, number one on the call sheet, I think it's the Hamlet principle for me, is that you see many great actors play a Hamlet, but if you haven't got an extraordinary Gertrude, an Ophelia, a wonderful Claudius, you don't receive the play. And so, you know, I got to work with Nina Hoss and Noemi and this wonderful young cellist, Sophie Krauer, who had never acted before.
That was her first.
Yeah, and everyone lent into it. So it becomes an ensemble. And so then all of the homework gets thrown away, and all you're doing is responding to these these really interesting, often left of field suggestions that other actors make that tip everything off its axis, and then hopefully the camera captures that surprise.
Oh God, because you had really long takes.
Well, the film Tar begins with a really long interview.
Right.
And when I first read it, I thought, I do not understand 3/4 of the reference points. I realized that I had a lot to. I was a steep learning curve.
It was like a
for me.
masterclass in music as well.
Yeah, but I don't think, because it's not a film about
music,
even though it's not a film about conducting. But I realized I needed to know that stuff. But anyway, it was quite still and long and wordy. And then there was a scene very quickly where she's giving a masterclass at Juilliard, which is also very long.
That was long.
And Todd said a week before shooting, he said, I think we need to do it in one shot. Which of course, yes, it had exactly that reaction. But then it's thrilling, because then you're really dancing with the crew, and you're really dancing with the other actors, and you're on that tightrope, which I guess must be similar to doing a stunt. Yeah, it was. Because
I have
except
stage
you
fright.
normally have 6 weeks.
I don't do theater. I would never do. Oh no, I have stage fright. I would forget my name.
Really?
Lose my sense of where I am. Oh yeah, it's so funny.
But you have such a profound sense of audience. You can tell you have an amazing rapport with the camera.
A lot of fear. If I have to go on stage just to do a presentation or something like that, I can't sleep until the presentation is over.
Oh, but that's worse. Theater's not like
horrible.
that. Theater's like an extended sleepover with a bunch of friends.
No.
Giving a speech as yourself, that is terrifying.
Yeah. No. Just being on stage and looking out at the sea of faces is terrifying.
So how do you feel? How do you feel when you walk on set? Then do you feel it's always first day of school?
It's not so bad, because I feel like if I fumble or make a fool of myself, I can do it again.
Right.
There is the fear of doing it and go like, oh, there's a whole audience sitting out there.
I have to keep going.
And you're like, oh no, suddenly you blank out or something like that, you know. Oh, that terrifies the heck out of me.
Except you have the Jamie Lees of this world to...
No, it's not going to happen. No. It wouldn't, no. Even just...
We're going to work on this. We're going to work on it.
I know, you're amazing. Oh, you know, one thing I really want to know is, how do you juggle your life? You are a mother of 4. That's amazing. And you adopted.
Yes, yeah. We have 3 biological kids, and it just happened. I mean, it just happened. It's sort of like life's not a linear thing, is it? I mean, I didn't come out of the womb saying, I must procreate, I must get married, I must be an actress. I had no plan whatsoever.
It just happened.
Yeah, I think that when I was at university, I said I wanted to travel with my work. That was my ambition. So I've kind of
you've achieved that.
Yeah.
We do travel to amazing places.
Yeah. The visuals in Everything Everywhere All at Once are so extraordinary, but and this is what I love about Todd Field's script as well, is that the ideas are big. When you see them on the big screen,
You feel,
yeah, you do. You have to lean into it. I always think about the theatre-going audience, that they're implicated. So if the night is awful, they never want to go back to the theatre again. But if it's wonderful, they feel so alive. But I think a film-going audience, it's not a passive experience. It's not sit back, relax. It's lean forward
like,
and engage.
how do we engage and how do
Yeah.
we get transported into another world, or discover something about yourself, or be able to have communication. I think what is great about our films is that people talk about it. People want to have a conversation. Some conversations are not easy, but it's necessary. And it's so important that we stop being so judgy.
Yeah.
Everything is like, really? It's like, why can't we just have a conversation? We can agree to disagree, but it's most important to have an exchange. And I think that's what we, as human beings, need.
So, I mean, Evelyn presents herself in so many different ways, and you've got so many kind of silhouettes and images and personas to inhabit. And so, how did you develop those different looks? Were they prescribed in the script, or
They,
did you work?
the script very basically Chinese aging woman, right? Non-descriptive. So,
Call Michelle Yeoh, non-descriptive Asian woman, the most iconic woman in cinema. Should have said
Michelle Yeoh, perfect fit for that. But Shirley, our costume designer, she is so imaginative, and
Yeah.
you've been Queen Elizabeth, and then you're an elf, and then you're this. But the costumes is an extension of your character, and it helps me. When I step into my costumes, my whole mindset changed. The wig, the aging of the face.
And did that help you flipping between
Yes,
times?
Yes, it does. It helped because I create this, because I have to say, this is not Michelle Yeoh, this is Evelyn Wong. Who is Evelyn Wong, right? That was my homework. It's like, she is this woman who goes to the market all the time. She runs a laundromat. So her whole body posture would be a little bent over because she's carrying and lugging heavy things all around. I wore some body padding so that I would be, she doesn't go to the gym, and she doesn't have facial. So all these things, I think it's the nuances that makes the character
Complete. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Jamie.
Yeah.
She was the one who says, I want to wear that yellow outfit. And she has this amazing way of like, bloop, and her stomach just falls out. And everybody's going, is she wearing a bodysuit? We're like, no, that's the amazing thing. I'll show you a photo where it's her in the daytime when we're working and her going to an event at night. Oh my God, it's amazing. So for me, like when I am the opera singer, the blind opera singer, once you are there, because I don't have a voice, but I had to sing out in front of an audience.
See, you've done it. You've done it already.
It was on stage.
You've taken
it was
the first step.
Terrifying. So, but once you're in that costume, it's like your mask is on. Your armor, your shield is on. And so you are prepared to go into that role. Verse jumping gave me the opportunity to, it was like for Evelyn, having a look at every decision that you made in life. If I had done that, would have been the great life I'm having. And I think it was very sad for when she came back to the real universe to turn around to the husband and say, I could have been this if I didn't go with you. And that's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. There are so many moments of heartbreak.
Yeah.
So many moments
But
of
then
heartbreak.
there's so many moments of realization as well, to go, yes. And when you communicate, especially with the husband at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter. Because in whatever universe, I would prefer to be doing the laundromat and doing the taxes with you. Because at the end of the day, it is about love. It is about our superpower, kindness.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought a lot, even though the Tar and Everything Everywhere All at Once are such different films, they do deal with mortality in a very, very different but very deep way. I mean, you only have one life. And how do you, when you're in a groove, how do you change that? It's really...
How do you sustain and appreciate that? That is hard, because when you look at Lydia, she's so well constructed. It's almost like her orchestra when she wears a suit, with a shirt. I love the way you do that. It's like your little gesture of my confidence is here. I
But
am
it's also,
ready.
it's funny we're talking about clothes because and the suits, because I think it's not just, and working with Bina Diagla, who I've worked with many times, amazing costume designer, it's the way the character wears the clothes.
Yes.
So we got a wardrobe together, and then obviously you need to work very closely with the production designer to say, do you want the character to blend in? Or do you
Or
want them
to
to stand
stand out.
out? And also she's just come, you've got to be very aware of where the characters come from, where they're going to. And I had very long days. The character had very long days. Like the actual story takes place, unlike yours, which moves through
like-
millions of years. It was kind of really within a matter of a week or two. They were rehearsing. And so it would be like, okay, I'm going to wear this costume so I can break it down and deconstruct it and put it back together again. So you can reveal so much about a character's state of being that they're not even aware of by the way they wear the clothes. And I find that fascinating. You know, I find that amazing when you go into a workplace, any workplace, and you can tell someone's mood or what they're trying to
Express.
yeah,
right?
get away from by what they've decided to wear that day.
Yeah.
Or the non-decision that they've made that day.
I think it's very important, you know, especially with the creators, that what I don't like is like when you walk on or you look at something and go like, they just bought the suit yesterday.
You know what really annoys me is when someone puts their feet up.
Oh no! And it's like
you
never
realise
been
they've
worn.
trudged, been trudging through the desert across gravel, and they've basically got the sticker for on the bottom of the shoes. Like, dude, didn't you? You know,
Right.
yeah. I'm always
It's
looking at the bottom of my shoes just in case.
No. When Shirley was great. I mean, we did a shopping for Evelyn Wong in Chinatown. We're like, yes, I wore all the colors that I would never wear.
I know, because you're so
love
elegant.
that.
It's such a transformation.
But it's so good to have that transformation because you are someone else, right? Because you're not playing Cate. You
Thank
are.
God. Yeah, two people.
Thank
My mother would go
God.
and see that movie. But,
Oh God, you
yeah,
should have heard my
sons
mother's
wouldn't.
comment when she saw the movie. It's like, why do you look so old? Why can't you be like, you know, when you're in that ball gown the whole time?
Do more Crazy Rich Asians, would you?
Oh, she loved Crazy Rich Asians, but she loved it for the look.
Yeah. But I mean, you have had some incredible looks, like amazing looks. Did you start off dancing, did you always have the urge to perform?
Oh, perform on stage, only dancing.
Right.
Loved that. That's why I never thought I had stage fright.
Right.
Until when I went to England, I went to a ballet school. I enrolled because I wanted to do ballet. But you know, at that time, there was no way I could ever have been a professional ballerina. I mean, they will say, physique, look-wise, you will never blend into the corps de ballet. This is how it is. So at that time, I went to England. I loved dance, so it was great. No more schooling, you know, just do my A's and O levels. But I would dance from 9 till 5. I was living the dream. Then I had a back injury, which then caused that dream to fold up. But, you know, I was very fortunate. The principal of the school, Mrs. Hammond, she turned around and said, but there are so many options in dance. You don't have to be a ballerina. You can be a choreographer, you can be this. And I wanted to be a ballet teacher, really. So I went to do a degree in dance. And I thought, well, since I'm here, I could do drama. What a mistake that was.
Oh, no, thank God.
Oh, my God. I swear. If the professors at that time, if someone said to them, one day Michelle is going to be an actor, they'd be like, I bet my last pound it will never happen.
Why?
Seriously. Because I was so bad at it. I realized that when I had to go up on stage to speak, my knees start trembling. I start literally, I swear, sweating. My arm literally like,
It's strange because maybe that's why when you dispense with words, you say so much. Do you know what I mean? Like so everything you say. When I always feel when I watch you on screen that the words you say are so essential.
yes.
You know, there's never
that.
any filler.
No frills. And I think when we have silence, it's more powerful. It's like, you know, when Lydia, when she walks in a room, when she does things, it's just with a look, and that already conveys so many emotions and words. And for me, it's not about the number of words that you vocalize. I mean, in Everything Everywhere All at Once, I was just screaming the whole time. Like, just getting it out, I'm going crazy. No, but no, so I'm grateful. I mean, I really am so grateful that this movie came my way and gave me the opportunity to finally say, I can actually do comedy, and I can actually do physical comedy, and I can do drama, and I can do so many of the things that I have been taught, that I've been educated over the years. So,
But your work is always playful. You know, when you think about Yes, Madam, and you think about Memoirs of a Geisha and Crouching Tiger, I mean, one of the most powerful films of all time, there's such an intensity to what you do, but it's always so playful. And so it just felt like in the Daniels movie that all of that just got, you know, was just magnified times 1,000. It was such a joy to watch. It was really
amazing
so
coming
inspiring,
from you.
really inspiring.
Thank you.
No, it's been so nice talking
my
to you.
God.
And I hope we'll work together.
Oh, no, we will work together.
In sort of a...
We have to.
Actually, not talk about ourselves, but actually talk about a thing, make a thing.